That's the
It's
one.
funny that people are using my and they're using it in videos.
You should,
he
you should
showed me-
copyright. You should copyright
well,
it.
but guys, so for what's up,
Dude,
everybody?
imagine the dude of the copyright.
Guys, I've been doing a bunch of comedy shorts on VT Comedy, and well, you guys know, whoever watches this, when I do the pre-intro for Instagram, I go, and that scream, that people are using it in other places on their videos, and some guy was like, dude, can you just patent that thing and just don't ever stop doing it? But then there's always one guy's like, paragraph like this on YouTube. Hey, bro, like, it was funny the first time, but like, and I'm like, and guess what? 200 replies to him going, go kill yourself. This guy's hilarious. Come on. One lady was like, the only reason I come here is because he screams.
It gets funnier every time.
It does. I see the back end every time you do the other. Not that scream. The other scream.
You see the back end every time.
The girl.
That one.
But you know,
all our numbers go up.
all right, so I'm gonna do it all the time. By the way, that happened. Because my voice is like this. This is my regular voice. I lost my voice in Australia 10 years ago. Lost it. I couldn't even talk. And then since then, I could do that. So go figure. But anyway, guys, we have a fantastic show lined up for you guys today. Brandon's here, Humberto's here, Dave's here. Guys, one of our newest unusuals. Normally, he's doing the audio. Jake is in the house. Jake C is finally in the house. So we're going to talk.
Maybe the show will sound good today.
Huh? Maybe the show, yeah. That's did you get the,
What'd he say?
He goes, maybe the show will sound good today.
Oh, maybe.
Hey-o! Hey-o!
Hey-o.
And, so, yeah, guys, we have a lot to talk about. Trump, when his Middle East trip. Is he going to other Middle East tour? Is he going to other places?
I know one place he's not going to.
Well, he's not going there. But wait, hold on. But is he stopping at other places in?
I think I saw something that he was going to like Syria too.
Okay, so
he may be doing like a little.
Yeah. Well, guess what? Taylor Swift does the Eras tour. Trump, he's doing the Middle Eastern tour. He got a jet from Qatar. We're going to talk about that. Also, Trump, his Big Pharma executive order. Guys, listen. Say what you want. The past 3 days, actually, it was over the weekend. America is back, bro. How much positive shit? Love him or hate him, bro. It was, my phone kept going off. Positive. He's gonna piss people off. I get it, but it's freaking good to have somebody that's in charge. It's unbelievable the amount of clips I'm seeing of like all the leftists, because you know, Jake Tapper, all their books come out. Nobody knew. They lied to us. Even what's his name? Brian Stelter, that big, disgusting human being. He reminds me of a pimple. He's just a pimp. He's a walking pimple.
If he were a pimple, he'd have some appeal. I mean, everyone likes pimple popping.
Yeah,
videos.
I love it. He's a disgusting human being. And I just saw a clip of him when Biden came on stage with Obama and all them, and they had to guide him off. He was like, it's a deep fake. You guys know what deep fakes are? So that guy's a scumbag. We're going to talk about the school shooter and what city was that?
Wisconsin?
His father was charged. We'll definitely get into that. South African refugees.
It was a girl.
It was a female?
I know. By
Young
city,
female.
I didn't mean city, Wisconsin. We meant the state of Wisconsin.
Yes.
I forget what Madison?
Madison, Wisconsin.
Was it in Madison? Yeah. But also, by the way, just one thing about in terms of winning. Has everyone seen what the Tesla stock is at today?
Oh,
How
it's
much did it
huge.
jump up?
300 and some odd, 340,
Oh, wow.
I think. So I think what's his face?
Tim
there?
Walz.
Tim Walz needs
Tampon
to
Tim.
update, check his app, see if it's
Yeah, that guy's
if
a
he's happy
freaking
today.
joke. That guy's such a freaking...
Well, didn't he bring
He's
Elon?
a knucklehead.
He brought Elon to the Middle East with him.
Yeah, of course. Oh, big time. Dude, what do you mean? He shook...
That's scary to me.
What, the whole crew going over there?
Oh, yeah.
They're closing deals. I love Ludnick. That's my favorite guy.
Ludnick was a dancing...
Have
Oh,
you
he's
seen
Jewish,
him
too. He was out there dancing
Have you
in
seen
Saudi
him
Arabia.
dancing? He was like, woo!
He was, dude,
So much-
$600 billion investment.
Yeah, so much money. They were
Dude, that-
so happy.
Is it crazy? That number doesn't even, like,
Boy,
when we
I
hear
don't
it...
even know what it is. Like,
No,
600
it's
billion.
monopoly. Listen, this is a massive, massive monopoly game. Like we used to think that politics was very serious, and like these things that we used to do was very lined up. And it's like go to Saudi Arabia, collect $600 billion.
And an airplane.
It's like
And
and
an
an
airplane.
airplane, and then you go over here. It's like it's a joke.
It's
Like,
there's nothing like that. There's no, like, you don't see it. It's just money,
Well, 'cause-
numbers.
Well,
Yeah,
COVID ruined it.
you're
To
like,
be
wow,
honest,
that's a lot
though.
of
Like
zeros.
once they start talking about trillions, then it kind of distorted our perception of what hundreds of billions are.
Yeah, you're right. Dude, now billions, I'm like, come on.
meanwhile,
so Ukraine
we're
payment.
like, oh, dude, eggs $7.
Yeah.
Like,
And I love the egg debate because it's like, bro, Who's out there buying like 500? Bitch, I got 1 dozen in the house. Just
It'll last me 3 weeks.
Yeah, it hangs around in the house. The funniest thing was toilet paper. That's how much you knew Americans were full of shit. We thought the world was gonna end. There
Literal.
was a global pandemic coming. People were like, toilet paper. It's like, bitch, get some food, get some cans. It's gonna be okay.
There's the healthier alternative, not to get gross, to
Shower.
using toilet paper. Well, a bidet if you can afford one, but
If not,
there
it's
are other
wonderful.
methods. Toilet paper is not the best method.
Yeah, it's bending over, just
1000%.
wiping it in the sink.
1000%. I grew up in the Middle East, and they have this hose that goes.
It's a hose in the
side.
butt. That's called a bidet.
And it's beautiful. You feel so clean. You can go on with your day. I'm a
process.
poop
I have a
shower.
I can't
type
believe
of
we're talking about that. I
I
have a
don't want to talk
process.
to people afterwards.
Yeah, well,
but it's-
there are specific rules about that. At a certain distance, it's cleanliness. Beyond a certain distance, it's for other purposes.
All
Well,
right.
All right,
listen,
let's shut my big mouth down.
If you guys want to, I'm an adult. I wipe with toilet paper, then I baby wipe clean, and then I
Dude
use
wipes.
dude wipe, and then I clean with it's a whole process. Anyway, guys, where were we? South African refugees. We're gonna talk about the statues of random fat black women are just showing up all over the country, all over the world. It's pretty funny, but just really quick, I want to talk about and Connor. If we go longer than 5, stop me. Shout out to Connor. Shout out to Jared. He's in the back. Andres and bro,
The boys.
the boys. And listen,
That's
me
my
and
crew right there.
we're gonna. I don't even want to get into. There's a conspiracy going around. That's about big water. Did you guys hear about this
Yeah,
one?
it's crazy.
Like
Oh, yeah.
Big Pharma is its own thing. But if you think about water, think about it.
Everything.
Fiji, Sepharil. And there's how many water companies are there? Honestly, you don't think they have a monopoly?
It's in everything.
Water, bro.
It's
This
a-
room made of. I don't even want to get into it. Everything. They needed water to make. You needed water is, and guess what? 80% of the
Human body.
human body
And
then
the earth.
ocean, and then the ocean. We don't even know what the hell. We're trying to go into space, bitch. Go into the ocean. Go to what? I
Go
don't.
the opposite way.
He's probably back there losing his mind. Anyway, and then so the major story over the weekend, besides Trump, was Macron, Keir Starmer, and Chancellor Merz were on a train going to see Zelensky to talk about Putin and the war. Guys, everybody saw the video. I want to just really fast. Do you think it was cocaine or not? And if not, give me an explanation really quick. I want a minute each of you guys.
Okay, I was initially skeptical when Patrick Bet-David put up the tweet. I said, that looks like a tissue. And then someone said, well, why does the other guy have a spoon? And I'm like, that's not a spoon, that's a straw. And then I'm thinking, why the hell would the guy have a sippy cup straw on the table? And then why would he cover it up guiltily? Yeah. Why would Macron, I said it was just a snot rag. It's a little embarrassing to have it on the table. Why would he react quite so defensively? It was not a normal reaction from Macron. And then I had someone who has experience in drug...
I'm right here.
A guy named Mark Grobert, Lord Buckley, who does rehab, who used to, by his own admission on Twitter, used to be a coke dealer. He's like, that is what they call a bullet, like you wrap up cocaine in a piece of paper for transportation. And what the other guy had was a nose spoon. They were all guilty and high AF. So I was initially no, now I am, I believe it was. Plus, the news said it was a Russian disinformation campaign.
Okay, then
that's
then-
how you know
then-
it's
They
true.
did. Didn't you party in Europe for a little bit?
I never, dude, I'll never do cocaine because I will
not
die
cocaine,
the first time.
I'm saying, but I partied in Europe, and cocaine is everywhere.
Okay.
This doesn't surprise me, and people are so casual about it.
It's cocaine. It's not like it's freaking meth. Still bad.
Well, there's the whole fentanyl thing.
Yeah.
Jay, what do you think?
No, I think it's. Do I know for sure? No.
Well, none of us
I
do.
don't.
If you had
do,
to guess.
do I think it's funnier to think that it was? Yes.
Yes, but hold on. If you had to put money, meaning your own, somebody gave you $1,000 bucks.
How many odds? 10 to 1 I would bet on that every day of the week.
Really, 10 to 1?
10 to 1?
I'm 50-50 because I don't trust any of these people. I
Bro,
don't trust them with my life.
It's political theater. Like, it's all like,
Yeah.
there's so many things happening now that would never have made sense before.
But now it does. Yeah,
Yeah.
But think about Jay. And that, guys, it's the mannerisms of what? He didn't want a tissue in the photo? And by the way, and if that...
Oh, no, it's weird. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
If you watch the whole thing and you break it down analytically, you're like, oh, yeah, it's
Oh, yeah,
totally
we're going to
weird.
show we're going to show the
Vinnie,
video.
I think I'm at
either-
80. I think I'm at 80 because everything Macron has done is sketchy and weird. Like he finished top in his class in school, but everybody in his class said that he was the dumbest kid in class.
And Brigitte Macron...
Yeah,
I mean,
he
making
probably
decisions.
married a man.
Probably married a man.
Vinny, listen, if it's not cocaine and you're worried about a tissue on the table, you did cocaine before that. All right?
That's funny.
That's what
Or
it
you're
is.
paranoid
But
for
and why do you
something.
hide it in your pocket? Yeah, I get it.
Someone rightly said to me, oh, he was embarrassed to have I said it's a booger tissue. He's embarrassed. It's like, he had it on the table when everyone was there before. And what you think the determining factor was the camera that made him embarrassed? But by the way, Euronews literally writes the allegations that the leaders of France, Germany, and the UK took drugs while on a train on the way to Kyiv are part of a wider Russian disinformation campaign. That's how you know it's true. I would bet on it based on them denying it and blaming Russia.
And listen, we had guys. So we got the footage. I want to show you guys a video.
Oh, we got the extended.
We got the extended version of it, but like the real
HD. 4K.
This is HD with subtitles. You guys let me know what you guys think in the comments if they were on cocaine or not. Connor, roll it.
Go see our friend Zelensky in Ukraine.
Excuse me, President Macron. What was that?
This is a flour. We're going to bake a cake later.
Why is it all over your nose?
Because I was smelling it to make sure it was the right kind. He's allergic, he's gluten-free. Right, guys?
I love baking.
Me too.
That's the best part.
Stop hiding. This is what we use for position. Make sure 1 teaspoon. We want to be perfectionist.
Where's the bowl?
The bowl's on a train going to Ukraine with the eggs, the whisker.
President Macron, in the spirit of good journalism, I have to say, that looks exactly like cocaine.
Listen, this is not cocaine, okay? Just like my wife, Brigitte, is not a man, regardless of what kind of someone says. Anyway, let's take a photo, boys. Everybody say booger sugar. I mean, cheese.
I love it. It's so good.
German Chancellor, I literally thought it was the German Chancellor.
Oh my God.
You guys have. I don't want to say. We'll say his name because he doesn't want his name.
It's a guy
out.
that works here.
But a guy that works here, guys. I just asked Jake. I go because Jake was the reporter. I go, Jake, who can we find that looks like this guy?
Oh my God.
We walked in. We just walked on. Jake goes, "That's the guy."
It was perfect.
And guess
It couldn't have been better.
And guess what? Never met the guy in my life.
No.
That one
Oh
day.
boy,
Like,
he
nice to meet you.
delivered.
You being a cocaine sketch.
and he looked at me like this. He goes, "I'd love to. Just I don't want my name involved."
Yeah. We're like, good, you're in.
Yeah, you're right. All right, guys. So first story: Trump taking the jet from Qatar. So Donald Trump is defending his plans to accept a luxury Boeing 747-8 craft from Qatar's royal family, describing it a cost-saving and transparent transaction that could temporarily serve as Air Force One. Kind of weird. The jet, can you show the image? Valued between $320 million and $400 million, lacks some capabilities, and the current Air Force One planes would be retrofitted for limited presidential use and eventually transferred to President Trump's Presidential Library Foundation after his term. Guys, this is from his Truth Social. So the fact that the Defense Department is getting a gift free of charge. I had to scream because I know he was screaming.
You got to read it in Trump's voice, though. Otherwise, I don't.
So
believe
the
it.
fact that the Defense Department's getting a gift free of charge, that's right, of a 747, it's going to hurt my throat, aircraft to replace the 40-year old Air Force One temporarily in a very public and transparent transaction so bothers the crooked Democrats that they twist we pay top dollar for a plane. Anybody can do that. The Dems are world-class losers, MAGA. And can we play the video of Trump's response sometime? Yeah, let's just play his response. This is fine. Go ahead, Connor.
Has Qatar asked for anything in exchange for that $400 million luxury jumbo jet? And how can the American people be so sure that they will not in the future?
Well, I think what happens with the plane is that, we're very disappointed that it's taking Boeing so long to build a new Air Force One. We have an Air Force One that's 40 years old.
Jeez.
And if you take a look at that compared to the new plane of the equivalent, stature at the time, it's not even the same ball game. You look at some of the Arab countries and the planes they have parked alongside of the United States of America plane, it's like from a different planet. And it's close to 40 years old, might be more than 40 years old now. And we, when I first came in, I signed an order to get it built. I took it over from the Obama administration. They had originally agreed. I got the price down much lower.
All right, we can stop it.
and then,
Okay, so wait. First of all, I didn't know that the plane that the president of the United States has been flying in, all the past couple of them,
Oh, it's a
is
problem.
over 40 years
Yeah,
old.
what a shame.
But here's the thing, guys. We know. Let's not play games. Qatar is a seesaw to accept the plane. First of all, he's not jumping on this thing tomorrow. It was gifted to the DoD. The amount of time it's going to take to go through this thing, I don't see him flying this thing at all. But I want to go around. Jake, I'm going to go to you first, and then Humberto, I'm going to come to you. Jake, what do you think? Gift to the Department of Defense, good idea, bad idea? I want to know what your thoughts.
Oh, dude, this is a weird one for me.
Oh, good. It's weird for me
because,
too.
Okay. Air Force One is so specific.
Yes.
It's like a one-of-one plane. It's not just like this random 40-year-old plane. It's very specific. It has very specific outfit and the
Security
technology,
features.
and they update it all the time. I think taking a massive gift from a country that any country, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's Middle East, doesn't matter. It just seems kind of weird to me that they're so open about being like, oh, well, it's this massive, giant $400 million plane, and when I pull up to the Middle East, they embarrass me with their planes, so I have to take one of their embarrassing planes because now I will be the most non-embarrassed. Like, it's like, dude, come on.
So you don't like, and I by the way, I'm on board. Anybody gifting anybody anything. This is by the way, this is the leader of the free world flying in something, bro. Anything goes wrong on this freaking thing. First of all,
No, for sure.
it would be end for them.
100%.
They'd be wiped out, but we would still lose a president.
Yeah, but why would we even want to take like okay, if you watch videos of a president in another country, ever, if they get a food or a drink or anything, they don't drink it. They don't eat it because you're not supposed to take, like, if you don't know the source, you're not supposed to eat or drink anything in a foreign country as a dignitary.
Putin and Xi did the toast. They don't drink each other.
And you're not even supposed to touch Putin because merely by contact you can end someone's
Right,
life.
okay, so you're going to take a giant plane from a foreign government that our president is supposed to fly on and then just be like, yeah, sure.
Okay, so there are multiple angles to this. There's the ethics angle, in which case people say you can't take a gift from a foreign country because it's corruption. It means that they're investing in your... Flip side, buy it then, but then you're going to have people saying, well, now you're giving $500 million to Qatar,
XYZ,
so it's corrupt as well. So if it's the ethics argument, then it's a lose-lose. You can't take it for free and you can't pay for it. Both are corruption. In which case, you can't rely on the ethics argument to dismiss this. Security. Hypothetically, Qatar wants to end Trump. They can do it any time he visits. They don't have to do it on a plane and have some
No, I don't think it's nefarious.
And then the flip side is, between Qatar and Democrats, who wants to see Trump ended more?
The Democrats.
The
What do you mean?
So
The
keep
Democrats.
keep him flying.
What do you mean? They already tried twice.
3 times. But no, so the fact that they want to keep him flying on a 35-year-old antiquated
40,
Air
it's
Force.
40.
No, I looked it up. It was 35 and
35.
34 and 35. The fact that they wanted to keep him flying on that is more suspicious than letting him get a state-of-the-art new plane, albeit from Qatar, because Boeing, incompetent, over budget. They budgeted $3.95 billion for those 2 planes that he's supposed to get the new Air Force ones.
Yeah, it's
and
gotta
they're
be
$1 billion over
technology.
budget, and they're not on time.
And he got down to that number too. They tried to do 5 at first, and he's like, "No, there needs to be a 3 in front of it." But yeah, no, I was gonna say, I think we're burying the lead with outrage. Like, we should be outraged at Boeing for, like, that's supposed to be like a pillar of America, and they, like, create the best machines that we have. But it's been a disgrace in every regard. Like, commercial planes have been falling out of the sky, catching on fire. Like,
It's been tough for them.
It's been tough for 3 years.
It's been a hard time for
and you know how
Boeing.
much money they get from the government too? Like 30% of their income comes from government contracts, and they can't get their shit. Like, and they get people stuck in space too. So like, I want to see Tesla acquire Boeing. To be honest,
That'd be sick.
How dare you talk about Boeing
Oh,
like
it's
that?
a disgrace.
How dare they're not?
Disgrace.
They're a great American
They were.
company. I love you
Past
guys
tense.
because they have a tendency for violence. I love you guys. I love you guys.
You
I
mean
love
you
you a lot.
shoot? You
They make really scary stuff.
Yeah, you
whistleblowers.
suiciding yourself?
If you want to sponsor the show, we're available.
Yeah.
Raytheon,
Yeah.
call in.
Yeah.
We're taking. Look, I'm gonna take a weird angle here,
Go
right?
ahead.
If I was to meet the president, if I was to meet Trump, and I was gonna give him a gift, it will be something of great value to me, like probably very expensive, or probably like very meaningful or cultural. Like that's what they say. It's usually cultural gifts. The Qataris are, it's a cultural thing. They're ordering the most planes. It's almost like, obvious to the Qatari culture. And now, if you put in perspective, because we're all broke compared to these people, right? If you put it in perspective, the Al Thani family, all right, that's the Qatari family. You don't know how much money they have, but what people know they have, this might be 5 times less than they have.
Trillions?
Is $335 billion, all right?
I think it's way more than that.
So it's way more, probably like 500 billion, probably close to, it could be close to
Maybe
a trillion,
trillion.
maybe a trillion. So $400 million is a drop in the bucket. If it's like I give you my truck, you know, it's not a big deal. It's an investment. It's not a big deal. He's not gonna sweat it. Like he's like, oh, what am I gonna do with not that plane? It's whatever. It's just a cheap gift. And
there's another element to it, which is that he accepted this gift in the days before his Saudi Arabia tour, where he gives a speech. There is something to be said about you can't refuse a gift from people who are trying to show you grace. Yes. And so if you sorry, I can't take your gift. I'm above your gift. Take it back and give it to somebody else. And now I'm going to go try to do some diplomatic relations when I go to Saudi Arabia. So there might have been political considerations.
I could see that.
Accept the gift, show respect, establish a relationship, but.
You're 100% of the like.
I'm Middle Eastern.
I grew up.
Yeah.
I grew up in Dubai. I've been to Qatar twice. You know, and if you don't take a gift, like it's a grave
spit in the face.
offense.
Oh,
It's a
big
spit
time.
in the face.
But you
Like,
see what he's doing here, though? He's playing them like a fiddle, where like he's not going to use the freaking plan, but he knows they're going to freak out about it if he even alludes to he might use it. So he's over there striking deals while they're complaining about is he going to use a Qatar plane for Air Force One?
Yeah,
Of course he's
and
not.
Nobody's mentioned the fact that while he was there, Howard Lutnick, a Jewish guy in Qatar, danced his ass off because they closed they promised a $600 billion investment. And mind you guys, this $400 million plane isn't going to be in the air. But think about the gesture, and you nailed it. It ain't putting a dent in their piggy bank, but it's a gesture of like, hey, listen, we're trying to be cool. We're trying to be peaceful. Like, by the way, they treated Trump like he was a freaking king there. I told Jake before we started, they rolled out the red carpet, which is, I'm sorry.
The purple, don't worry about it,
My
purple.
bad.
Yeah.
The purple carpet's a different, it signifies like you're on their level. And then they gave him another thing, that necklace, that gift. It's ridiculous. They love it. And bro, again, all countries have all their evil shit. They all have their secret people. They all have their spies. They all have everything. Trump is doing diplomacy. He's being diplomatic. He's trying to be the freaking president. And I cannot get over, guys, how many videos lately I've been seeing because of all the Biden shit. It's the most sad, depressing, what's the word I'm looking for? Embarrassing. Bro, I'm embarrassed looking at, don't get me wrong, Trump doesn't I get it. He talks off his ass sometimes.
It's a different kind of embarrassment.
But Biden was, and Biden's embarrassing as shit. Jill Biden, shame on you as a wife for not saying, this fucking poor old guy, he doesn't deserve, bro, it was embarrassing. And he wasn't in charge. And now all the left is coming out like Jake Tapper and all these losers. What? He was losing his mind. Go F yourself. You guys all knew it. And shame on you. Hey, Jill, Dr. Jill, shame on your ass. Because your husband should have been home the entire time and not being the president.
Vinny,
And you think they're more or less likely to give money to Hamas after this? Because they're the biggest funder of Hamas. So I'd say they're less likely to keep funding Hamas.
Who are you talking about?
Saudi.
Qatar.
Because
Yeah,
of the
right.
relationship.
They're their biggest
Vinny,
funder.
Vinny, camels, if you got 10 camels, it'd be absolutely useless. What are we going to do
I
with 10
can't do nothing
camels?
with 10 camels.
They're
And
very
I
hard
use
to-
them for my videos.
Imagine, they're very hard to bulletproof. Come on,
You can't
even
bulletproof a
ride
camel.
them.
Yeah.
Also, not to lose sight of the fact that the plane they're gifting him is still a Boeing. So I mean, it is.
It's still got
it's
problems.
It's an American-made plane at least. So, but the issue is, you can't say no to a gift. It's a transparent gift. It's not like what Justin Trudeau did, which was accept gift from the Aga Khan and not disclose it. So it's a transparently, publicly disclosed gift. If you don't like it, and if you see Trump's posture vis-a-vis Qatar change radically, where he starts doing, then you could say, okay, he's been bought off. But the flip side is pay for it if you don't like it. Pay for it out of taxpayer dollars. Great, mission accomplished.
The other side of this, though, is I don't care if he pays for it or gets it. Like, that's not even my thing. My thing is, I'm thinking more about Qatar, right? They definitely read Art of the Deal. So they're playing, what do they want? They want to get catapulted into the international spotlight. Like, they want to be an emerging nation, for sure. They rallied for the World Cup. They did all kinds of stuff, and there was a lot of bad stuff going on with the World Cup. I'm a big soccer fan, where they were working their workers to literal death. Like, they have no OSHA there, so there are people falling off buildings and dying from heat stroke, all kinds of stuff. They built a whole city for the World Cup. They used it for the World Cup and then just abandoned it. There's no one that lives there anymore. It's just a huge waste of money because they have so much money that they don't know what to do with it. But it's they know who they're playing to. So they're like, oh, we want influence in the United States.
Of course.
Let's roll out the purple carpet. Let's give the president a massive gift.
And the flip side is Trump's like, okay, well, they are a sponsor of terrorism. Do we want that to be the case forever? No.
No.
So how do you get rid of that?
Yeah.
Sure.
The diplomacy is good.
Oh, big time. I think the trip overall is a win.
For sure. The speech yesterday was amazing. My only takeaway from this is when Democrats are telling you to stay on the antiquated Boeing 35-year-old plane for Donald Trump, it's not because they want what's best for Trump. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
can
guys.
see that.
All right, good. Guys, good. I like it. We're going to move on, Connor. Segment number 2.
Most consequential.
Trump, staying
EO.
on Trump. The Big Pharma executive order. So President Trump signed a major executive order on Monday aimed at significantly reducing prescription drug prices in the United States by 30 to 80% through implementing a most favored nation policy. They do that with acting in Los Angeles as well. This policy would ensure that U.S. pays no more than the lowest paid by other economically advanced countries for certain drugs, particularly those covered by Medicare and administered in doctors' offices. Is this his Truth Social? This is it. Wow. You guys want me to read it? This is a long
Too
one.
long.
Yeah,
Too
it's
long.
not-
I'll read the beginning. All right.
For many years.
For many years, the world has wondered why prescription drugs and pharmaceutical in the United States of America were much higher in price than they were in any other nation. That's right. Sometimes being 5 or 10 times more expensive than the same drug manufactured in the same laboratory or plant by the same company. It's always difficult to explain why embarrassing because in the fact that no correct or right answer. The pharmaceutical/drug companies would say for years it was research and development costs, and all those costs were and would be for no reason whatsoever borne by suckers of America alone. All right, our country will finally be treated fairly, and our citizens' healthcare costs will be reduced by numbers and never thought before. Additionally, on top of everything else, the United States will save trillions of dollars. Thank you for your great attention on this matter. Make America great again. So,
Half measure.
what do you think, Brandon? What do you think? I'm gonna come to you.
No, I mean it's a drop in the bucket, but like the real thing that everybody either seems to be terrified to talk about or have no idea about is that the patents, like when the patent expires, the price drops by 90%, and that's the actual market value. And like it's the only industry in the world where you like somebody's not allowed to create something once somebody else creates it. Like you create a drug that saves people from cancer, that gets rid of cancer, or like an asthma drug, a diabetes drug, they get 20 years of market exclusivity right off the bat, and then they usually get like an average of 78 years of market exclusivity.
78?
Yeah,
is crazy.
that's the going average.
Of
Like,
a cancer curing.
Can
drug.
I ask you a question,
Yeah,
Brandon?
yeah.
Is that how how do they make generics?
so generics get made once the patent expires.
Okay,
So that's the only way.
So anything that has a generic has to be probably an older
It's an
formula.
older
or
version.
something.
Exactly. So and what sucks is like, let's say his company comes up with a cure for cancer,
Yeah, sure.
and they market. Like there should be some type of competition. What 20 years you corner the market, and I get like give them 10 years, give them 8 years, but 78 years, bro, 20 years
Yeah.
of a patent not expiring.
And think
then
about how
they-
fast technology goes in that time.
Oh my God, like Jake, that's what bothers me is they have cures for shit right now. Obviously, there's more money, Brandon, in keeping you kind of sick and dragging you along, helping you. You could live with these diseases, but there's cures for this shit. Bro, you mess with Big Pharma. You were talking about Boeing and how people suicide. People
Who will
people
love?
that-
Who
people
will
that go
love?
and blow whistles. They love killing themselves.
Dude.
You mess with Big Pharma, bro. It's not good, bro. Those guys got hitters.
It goes from $1 trillion industry to like probably a couple $100 million industry if they were to do this, because like the average price drop is like 98% once the patent expires. Like, and it's such a waste of resources too. Like I was saying yesterday on the podcast that I worked at a big pharma company. I did global security there, and they had this one drug. It was like a 5-year-old company. They had one drug that was a rare blood disease drug, and it cost $100,000 per treatment. And they had
$100,000
per treatment.
That I'm sure that they would bill to the insurance company, not the individual necessarily.
Yeah, of course.
Well, they
Well, I mean, if you have
they worked
insurance,
it
I
out through
guess.
like,
If you have insurance.
like
Yeah,
you're basically bankrupt, and like your life was like paying for the freaking the stuff.
So
or-
you rather, in your head, you're like, I'd rather die than be a slave for the rest of my
yeah,
life.
but there's also a whole like kind of money laundering thing with Medicare and stuff, where like Medicare ends up paying for a lot of this stuff. So, but anyway, so like there's a couple thousand patients, to a multi-billion-dollar company just because of this rare blood disease drug, and they spent all their time and effort just lobbying DC and trying to tweak the drug just enough because the patent was about to expire when I was there, and everybody's freaking out. And they're like, oh, like we have like a new drug that's like 98% the same, but it might be just enough different for us to get a new patent. And they extended the patent and then saved the company.
Hey, look, there's an argument
Sound
of
like big water, though,
exploiting
go
it, but no, the thing is, I analogize it to copyright or trademark. Like this is something of your creation that you are entitled to enjoy the fruits of your own creation. Like if someone could just copy your book, copy your music, because why do you have exclusivity over your creation just because it's a book or music and not a patent? People will not put any money, time, or effort into trying to patent things. Whether or not there's patent abuse in terms of extending the patents, fine. Drop in the bucket, maybe, but I don't think so. I think it's kind of amazing where I grew up on the argument that, yeah, if you don't charge these amounts, there's going to be no incentive for R&D. Or good, but why are we paying more in America, or why are Americans paying more than Canadians than the Brits? And it's because Americans are paying more to subsidize the R&D, whereas the rest of the developed world is not. This is amazing. You just, RFK, if you watched the press conference, RFK says if England would increase their prices by 20%, it would represent something like $10 trillion. reduction to be amortized across developed nations that can afford to pay a little bit more for the medications so that America is not subsidizing it. Flip side, I think it will also reduce a bit of the overprescription in America since they're making a shit ton of money doing it. And if they make a little bit less, there might be less of an incentive to over-medicate the American people.
Yeah, we're like
I
75%
think
of the
nerds
revenue.
are getting too much credit and paid too much. There's a nerd inflation. This guy is doing research. Like, I wouldn't I've never seen a scientist in my life. Now, what you're saying, being
Yeah, for
serious,
real.
what are you saying? And it's good that you brought up the music industry side of things, all right?
That's my specialty.
Technology giveth, technology taketh away, all right? You're Drake. I mean, you're Michael Jackson, all right? You have one hit song, you put it out there, everything is great. You're making millions of dollars of royalties, all right? Then some nerd, there's always the nerds.
Always a nerd.
Some nerd
In a
goes like,
basement.
hey, I'm going to do Napster now, all right? So the physical value of your song, of selling a record, is no longer. So what does Drake have to do? You know, like in old school medieval times that, you know, if in order to get your music played, you had to grab your guitar and walk miles and miles and go place to place. I think there's a level, and I think it's across the board. It's medical, it's entertainment, it's everything that needs a patent. There's a line between greed and protection that I think is not set properly. And I think we're missing out in a lot of incredible technology, remixing, recreations, you know? So I think we're holding ourselves back. I feel I'm a capitalist at heart, but it's not like the guy that fixes your AC once. It goes like, this is a great job, the best job I ever done. I'm gonna live off the royalties of this, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I see that.
Question though. So is it more similar to like a song, or is it more similar to like you make a TV, then nobody else could create a TV, or you make a camera, nobody else could create a camera? So like, is it
That's the thing. That's
but like,
the-
which
those
one
are-
is it?
those are the lines.
Because you don't patent a
We
TV
don't
once you
know.
create a TV.
And I don't know who you are anymore, Brandon. I know you work for Big Pharma, like
Big Water.
I've told everybody.
Who is this guy? I thought we were friends, Brandon.
Well, I told them they're all disgusting when I was there because like they were all like hoping and praying that they could extend the patents. I'm like, oh yeah, congratulations, guys. You're just gonna continue bankrupting a bunch of sick people.
So Brendan, what do you, if you had a solution for what's going on, what would you think?
I
I mean, what
where's
he's
the
doing, are
line?
you happy with what he's doing?
I am. It's a step in the right direction because like they're grossly overpriced. So I mean, to knock it down 40% or so, that's great. But still, like way too expensive. I think that like if you're the first one to create it, you get revenue share from anybody else who creates it. Like
I like that, like a
10%
percentage.
Yeah, because it'll be much cheaper. But you'll like if you're the first one to do it, you'll get like a revenue share from the other companies for like 20 years instead of like just have market exclusivity for 20 years.
I like that. I like that.
It is. There
Well,
is
then I'll come
something.
to you, Jake.
Sorry, there's just
no,
something
no.
fundamentally different between pharmaceuticals and I don't know.
water.
Tech?
No, what's it called? Fashion.
Yeah.
So like someone wants to waste a shit ton of money on a stupid purse that is opulent, whatever. Go ahead and do it. But to say that I'm going to make you pay X amount for diabetes medication, which is life-saving
Yeah,
and
when
not
it's like
purely
for death shit, that
so
that
you
pisses
know,
me off.
can you cap the profits? Then you're going to say it's sort of anti-capitalist.
Capitalist.
Can you sort of find a way to maximize over a longer-term period of time? Whatever. But it is something fundamentally different about healthcare versus all other industries, music and art.
That is a great thought, you know, because the thing is, they're not competing on the free market, all right?
No.
For example, if you want shoes, you can get shoes at Walmart, and that's one experience. Or you can go to Hermes and get very expensive shoes. You get treated differently. They're different qualities. Like I think a tier system, and they need to start putting in the work to get a better medical experience according to your means, without threatening life. I don't know.
That's terrifying.
How is it terrifying? Maybe you can get better pills.
You'll get a good colonoscopy, or you'll get the rough colonoscopy.
Yeah, right.
You get your
It's like,
$5
you can get the
colonoscopy.
painless
They
tooth
spin on
removal or the archaic one. Like,
What were your thoughts, Jake? You were going to say something.
It's a hard thing for me because healthcare, in my opinion, should be one of those capitalist exempt categories.
Okay.
Which
Here we go.
No, I know,
Here
I
we
know,
go.
I know.
Let's go to
I
Canada,
know,
commie.
I know. Well, no, hold on.
No, go ahead.
But it's
Go ahead.
because like you're a scientist and you create this life-saving drug. Amazing. I think you should be able to profit off that for the rest of your life. But by profit, I mean not necessarily from the consumer, but being subsidized in some way. I know like everybody's afraid of putting anything towards the government, but it's like, what if you make some amazing patent and the government says, that's incredible, this saves so many lives, we're going to pay you per year $500,000, $1 million, XYZ, whatever it is, and then we're going to take the drug and sell it at a lower cost to consumer or little to no cost because it saves people's lives. Like you said, the people that had rare blood diseases or whatever, like you didn't ask for that. You were born into something very random, and now you're in debt on Earth because of it.
Yeah.
It's stupid. And I mean, I think this is awesome. If it works the way that it's supposed to work. Like if it actually straight up slashes drug prices by up to 80%, that's incredible.
No, even if it halves the price, even if
Yeah.
it reduces it by 30%,
No,
it will also fix the inherent corruption of the American healthcare system, which is you're dealing with industries that are, the insurance companies will agree to pay more because, it's the internal corruption of the whole thing.
Yeah, sure.
Plus the overprescription of medications, given the profits that they're making. Maybe it's naive of me to think, but if it's not quite so corrupt and not
Or
quite
lucrative.
so lucrative,
Yeah.
they won't be as eager to say, hey, I'll slap you on some SSRIs or
and
whatever.
it's weird because we were just talking about Boeing and the military-industrial complex, XYZ. It's kind of the same with drugs. Like, you remember the guy in Congress or a hearing somewhere where he held up the bag of bolts and he's like, "How much do you think this bag of bolts is?" He's like, $30,000 for 10
90.
Right, something insane. Right? It's the same thing with drugs.
Yep.
Those are expensive bolts. You don't know what.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with
Bathroom,
drugs.
different bathroom.
This drug cost the insurance company $150, but it cost me like 6 cents to make.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do it because I know they're gonna pay for it. So I'm gonna keep, kind of exploiting the companies, exploiting the people who are taking it because I can make more money, and I think that's tough.
Look, I'm not a big friend of human rights. I don't believe in them, especially health. Like people go like, "Oh, health should be a human right." No, it's not. Anything that requires the labor of another human being is not right anymore. All right,
But you are pro free market.
and that's what bothers me about this.
Yeah, right.
This is against the market.
Exactly.
They're tampering with the market,
The
and I
government
don't
got-
like that
No,
at
but
all.
that's not true because you have
Yeah.
legislation that came in and artificially modified the market.
Exactly.
Open market.
That's it, and this is
That's
why.
anti-free market.
That's why I like what Trump did, and I don't like this going on. Like, for example,
He's on the fence.
yeah, I'm not. I don't,
He's just
yeah,
like-
He's
yeah.
like, I love it,
I like
but I
it,
want
but it's
less.
bad.
I want
No,
less.
no. I want more of this, more deregulation of every market. I don't give a shit about health.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
But let me ask you a question, and I see where he's coming from because let's say, God forbid, I have a cancer. But all I have is the VA. It's not real health insurance. It's government health insurance. What if I'm a civilian and I have this disease and this company has a freaking drug that can literally save my life, but I can't afford it? What do I do? What do I do? And yeah, he's slashing prices, but $100,000 off of a patent.
Vinny, I love you. I will sell my kidney to help you, but
I'm dead.
tough
I'm
fucking
dead.
luck. You're dead. You're dead because you didn't have
Hey
the
guys,
money.
and
You-
that's why Unusual Suspects is good because that's raw and real. He's like, hey, Vinny got a lump on his neck?
Kill him.
That guy. He's gonna die of cancer.
the
I
thing
just
is,
think
you can't afford things, so you can't.
No, but I
that's
mean,
not
but
the
we're
way it
dying
works.
and
It's
they have
artificial,
the-
though. It's artificially high, which
That's
is
what
the
I'm saying, it's
problem.
That's what I don't like.
No,
That's
but,
what I
hold on,
hate.
but this is the thing. You can't afford things. Too bad. No one's going to let someone starve to death on the street because they can't afford food. So,
watch me.
It happens all the time.
We'll walk over a homeless guy to feed a dog.
that's only
I do
because you
laugh.
down the street.
It's only because you got to ship $200 billion to Ukraine to fund more death and destruction there. But no, I say when it comes to
cocaine.
food, the government, and they said I'm not a big government person at all, but for people who can't afford food, you don't let them starve to death on the streets. So health is another similar issue. There are those who can afford it if they get proper insurance, and then there are those who will not be able to, and that is what the safety net is for. It's not for artificially inflating
But
the
that-
entire
Insurance is
that-
kind of the problem, though, to a degree. Like, you know how the college tuition got so expensive because the government guaranteed loans? So the college was way cheaper before the government guaranteed loans instead of banks doing it. So health insurance is kind of the same way, where it makes the price of healthcare more expensive because like the insurers are willing to give that that amount of money.
But that safety net is destroying the human spirit.
No,
Viva,
it's
destroying.
no.
Like I'm a hypocrite, and I'm a terrible example of this. But if we were cavemen and I was this unfit, I will die. And
Yeah.
if I can hunt, if I can take care of my family, if I can beat up Brandon to take his women back to
Never.
my cave,
Oh, Mammoth
you're done.
is gonna eat
That-
your
No,
ass.
but this is the thing. In the caveman days, if you were to ever get that desperate, community would say, we're going to keep this guy, we're going to help this guy, because if he gets desperate enough to come after our food, he'll kill us and kill himself, and then everybody suffers.
Wouldn't they just
There's
eat
not
them?
enough killing going around.
Oh, Humberto would be the first. If there was a plane crash and we were like those Argentinian, I think they're from Argentina.
Oh my!
that
Dude,
they
also,
landed-
a documentary on that.
the
Side note,
documentary was-
insane.
Yo, I'd be eating your ass.
100%.
You're
Pause.
Whoa. No, I'm just saying. If
Whoa.
you, because for you guys that don't know, there was a plane crash. There was like athletes and they were on this
Yeah, so
mountain.
the movie was called Alive.
Alive.
Yeah.
And they had to figure that they ran out of food and they were up there for a long time. They had to like figure out who they were gonna eat, the dead people, and like they were cutting up chunks of their ass.
Vinny, I'm
I
grass-fed.
would
Don't worry
I'd
about
put
it.
hot sauce on your ass, and we'd be eating Humberto
For weeks.
Humberto
For
filet for weeks.
They're gonna be doing
wild.
they're gonna do an Alex Jones remix. I will eat your neighbor's ass.
All right, guys. Well, moving on to something lighter.
Oh my
Something
god.
lighter. Yeah.
Shit. Okay, let's cut this. Oh,
It's so funny. All right, so the school shooter, Jeffrey, this is the father. Jeffrey Rupnow, the father of 15-year-old Natalie Rupnow, who killed 2 people in December 2024 at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin, was arrested and charged with contributing to delinquency of a child in 2 counts of providing a dangerous weapon to a person under 18, resulting in death. That's the photo of the shooter on the screen with her dad. They look pretty, happy to be who they are. Natalie Rupnow killed a teacher and a 14-year-old student before taking her own life, and the other students were critically injured in the
it's
attack.
a German band. by
Authorities
the
have
way.
not disclosed a clear motive. No, by the way, no letter, no.
There was.
They're saying that there's no clear motive.
There
What
was.
was it, Jake? Do you know?
So I read a lot about this because I knew we were going to do it on the show, but also
Okay.
I was interested because it's like one of the
Good.
It's like the second or third time.
It's the third
only
time somebody's getting arrested.
that the parents are.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, how? That's hard for me to think because I was like, well, people have free will, like you can't control your kids, but how negligent do you have to be in order for them to qualify you for this, right? Which was honestly in this case pretty negligent. But when you said about the band, Humberto,
Humberto?
that shirt,
Yeah.
you know who else wore the
Yeah,
shirt?
the Columbine kids wore
Exactly.
that shirt.
Yes.
You've been doing your reading, guy.
He
Yeah.
did research. This is his first podcast on Unusual.
Hey man, I gotta come out swinging.
Yeah.
But
Alright.
so this girl was mentally disturbed, like really,
pills,
really bad.
pills and stuff, like pills.
I don't know. I'm sure that there may have been some
Okay.
kind of
Yeah, yeah.
supplemental thing.
Yeah.
But they said she went to a therapist. She had just a tough life. I mean, she grew up with 2 parents. Her dad was an alcoholic, that guy. And her parents had recently gotten divorced. The therapist said she had some post-traumatic stress disorder type stuff.
Was
And
there any evidence of sexual abuse in the family?
so not that I know of. It didn't. Nothing that I read like kind of alluded to that. But what it did allude to was the fact that she was with her dad now after the parents split. Like the mom went off and she was with her dad. Dad was an alcoholic, kind of a losery kind of guy. She didn't get much interaction with him. He would just kind of come home and do his thing and leave her alone. Well, what she was doing was she would go online and she was like super into school shootings, weird stuff. And what really like kind of was the tipping point was because they said that she had a really bad youth. She was like cutting herself, self-abuse. Like she was a mentally disturbed person from very young. Like they said she was 11 or 12 years old when she was getting like really into it. And the dad didn't know what to do with her. He was trying to connect with her. He didn't know how. And he took her shooting at a friend's ranch,
God.
and she liked the guns. So he's like, oh, that's a way to connect with my kid. So he bought her guns. And he was taking her shooting, teaching her how to use it. And he's like, wow, she's really enamored by these guns, not knowing that she was enamored because she wanted to use them.
Oh man.
And so she had a cardboard diorama of the school built in her room. She had maps of the school. She had a 7-page letter detailing the times, the places, the people, everything about how she was going to do it. She detailed how she was going to get the guns. He gave her the safe he gave her the code safe to the gun safe
the problem.
because he was like, if I ever, what he told her was, if you ever need to get them, it's my social security number backwards. Okay.
Why would you tell her? She's not. She's
I mean,
not licensed.
the argument's going to be if you need them for self-defense, and I don't know,
Sure.
the father
No,
gets...
100 and look, if your kid is responsible and whatever, 100%, I get it. That's not his fault necessarily. But the way that she got the guns was she told him that she wanted to clean them. And he gave her the
that's
guns to
always the
clean,
case.
and then he got drunk and forgot if he put them in the safe or not.
Let me
And she put them in her bag, and she went to the school and blew all the kids away.
let me explain something to you. There's no excuse for saying to a 14-year-old kid who doesn't have a license at all, hey, just in case shit pops off. No, that's irresponsible, and they deserve what they're getting. So the Jeffrey Rupnow, the father, the arrest places him among the few parents charged in connection for the child shootings that we talked about. The similar cases were Michigan and Georgia. In April, James and Jennifer Crumley, this is them right here. Can you show this photo? Became the first parents in U.S. history to be finally convicted and sentenced for their role in the shooting of their child, received 10 to 15 years in prison, involuntary, good manslaughter. They had purchased and failed to secure a handgun used by their son, Ethan Crumley, in the 2021 Oxford High School shooting. despite clear warnings. Like the warnings were blaringly loud, and they didn't do anything about it. And then Colin Gray, this is the father, 29 charges, second-degree murder, involuntary manslaughter after his 14-year-old son Colt used an AR-15 style rifle in 2024 mass shooting at Appalachian High School that killed 4 and injured 7. He allegedly gifted the rifle to his son despite the FBI. Bro, I saw the video too. The FBI is like, yo, this kid is doing this. And then just in front of the kid, do you want to do this and shoot at the school? He's like, nah. And they're like, all right, I take your word. No. This is all around, guys.
I remember that. Yeah, that was heavy.
It's
all
heavy,
of, dude,
but
they're
guys,
all terrible.
hear me out. If you are living in a house, besides, take the mental disorder, put it to the side. You have 14-year-olds, 18-year-olds, whatever. That gun cannot be accessible at all.
Ever.
End of story. And I don't want to get your guys' opinion. I think this needs to happen in every single case. If the kid doesn't have a license and it's not their gun, and you allow them to get a gun and they shoot innocent people and they still alive, they go to jail. You're going right there with them.
Oh, yeah.
Period.
The level of negligence, I mean, it has to be case-by-case basis. You can't just blanket it and be like, because kids are really smart, and say you have like the some niche cases, whatever.
If they, hold on, if they break into a safe,
right, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
If they
steal
had
it or
access,
something, right.
Oh yeah, if you just had it under your bed and he grabs and goes and kills my kid, you better go to jail for the rest of your life.
For not locking
That's
it up,
me.
yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
I'll only note the inconsistency. You know whose parents weren't charged for the murder of their son is Crooks out in July 13th.
Isn't that weird?
Isn't it weird that they don't go after the parents there so that we can actually find out what the kid was doing, what the parents knew, what was on?
Didn't they clean his whole?
And they were weird too. All of their appearances were very strange.
It was very
Like
weird. But they go after some parents and they don't go after others. It's a gray zone of sorts.
Yeah, it's tough.
People are going to say shall not be infringed. This is just going to be the one step away from going after criminalizing gun ownership at large, so that parents can no longer exercise their Second Amendment rights. Others are going to say, well, they can. They just have to keep them locked away if they have kids. I'm more inclined to think that if you have a kid, certainly one that you know is mentally having issues, and your way of consoling those mental issues is to get them a gun and to give them access to the gun. Yeah. You're flirting with negligence.
Yeah. They said they had texts from
the
father because the father incriminated himself. He was texting. So the girl ended up dying. She ended herself.
She killed herself.
Yeah, at the end, and she planned that like to the T.
She knew it,
and they knew it. So he was texting like the detective, and he was saying like, "Oh, it was my fault. I shouldn't have given her access to this. I knew that she could do something like this. All this stuff." And they went through his text, and they found one to his friend where he says, "If I something to the effect of, if I keep the fun safe open right now, I have a fear that she'll shoot me."
Jeez.
Like he knew that she was.
Well, I was following this story when it happened, and there was another much more sinister, disgusting element of this where people started thinking like there were Fed agitprops at play.
Oh,
that
geez.
girl, her Twitter feed, she was following and being followed by accounts that all they posted were school shooting montages.
Yeah, she was obsessed.
And there were people, there was one Twitter account that said live stream it before she did it.
Yeah.
And so the question became, was she egged on by online characters? She was. The question was, were those just legit disturbed teenagers
what's
or
the
something?
FBI doing with the Patriot Act shit? Like, if they're looking at all of our data, like, why aren't they?
If that's the case, they let that shit happen because they want to. Because the goal is to take. Listen, at the end of the day, guys, let's just be honest with each other. The government's goal is to take our guns. Period. That's why every time there's a shooter, they don't give a shit about the kid. They just come up there and they go guns, 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 guns. That's the problem. That's Brandon, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Okay?
And bear in mind, the two-step is to get to not to people like you, but to get to the argument that, well, if the parents have a gun and it's too accessible, then we should hold them liable and lock them up for the acts of their kids, even if, in the Crumbly case, the kid was charged as an adult. That's a way to facilitate going after guns of law-abiding citizens, although it begs the question as to whether or not they were law-abiding in the
here's
first
the thing,
place.
though. So, like, if you have a gun, you leave it in the passenger seat of your car, not in the glove box or anything, just, like, walk out into the store and somebody breaks in, takes the gun, shoots somebody, then, like, you're liable for that.
For sure.
Right?
Oh, for sure.
so
I mean, they're in trouble and you're in trouble.
Yeah,
that's your gun.
It's some degree of
Negligence.
manslaughter. It's some degree of manslaughter. So I think it's kind of similar to that.
Well,
you know?
especially with a minor who's under your care and control,
Yeah,
and you're civilly liable for their acts
I have
in
a
any
question.
event.
Yeah.
From like a legal standpoint. I mean, I don't even know if you have any experience with this. So in the Crumley case, right, where the kid is alive, And because at the end of the day, like, somebody has to pay, obviously, and that's why they're going after the parents for those kinds of things. The deaths of the kids, like, shouldn't go unnoticed. But in the case of the Crumley case, they're charging him as an adult and charging more adults. So is that, you know what I'm saying? I don't think it's bad. It's
no, I know, and I have zero experience with this, especially as a Canadian civil attorney, because you even own a gun in Canada, you're going to jail. The analogy that I thought of is, if you go to that judge who is harboring the illegal trena de Arago and giving them access to guns, if you say, well, yeah, I gave the illegal gang member a gun and then they went and used it for criminal activity,
what'd you expect?
What would you expect? Right. They're an adult. They're adults, and they're going to be charged as adults.
Sure.
But you aided and abetted to some extent. So the fact that Crumley was charged as adults, I raised that as an argument, but I think the retort is still nonetheless obvious. Like, all right, you give a gun to an illegal alien who's not allowed to possess one, and then they commit a crime with it. They might be an adult, and you might have committed another crime.
Oh, I feel
So let me ask you just really quick, because I want to move on to the next story. As a father, how much do you put on the blame besides the gun situation? Not being involved enough, and I know this guy was drinking. If your kid, like Ethan's how old?
He's going to be 9.
Okay, 9 years old. You mean to tell me, bro, this father, she had a cardboard cutout.
She had a diorama in her room.
A map, a manifesto of, like, where am I going to go, the time sheet. How not involved are you as a parent?
Forget not involved. Outright neglect if there wasn't abuse. The bottom line is, like, there's tragic situations like this, and you maximize the odds of bad stuff happening when you are a neglectful, abusive, alcoholic father. Flip side is, you can raise your kid perfectly, and then they can still do whatever. Sure. Plenty of school shooters, came from pretty decent backgrounds.
Yeah.
Luigi Mangione. I mean, but that guy might have had a psychotic break from doing psilocybin. But we'll see about that.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the correct comparison, but it's almost like with that type of attitude, with the guns and the neglect and the things, and then you get this is the byproduct of that. It's almost like all these. Have you been noticing all these like the list of Hollywood actors that all their kids are all doing the transgenders? Have you seen this?
Overrepresentation.
And I'm not saying they're neglecting them, but there's some disconnect. Even like with Marlon Wayans, all these guys that aren't around the kid. I don't know how. It's probably a bad example, but all these celebrities. And bro, I saw the list yesterday. It was insane. Even the guy from is it Donovan? I don't know if I'm saying the right actor. He was in The Manchurian Candidate.
I have no idea.
He was the man. His kid now is trans, and all these trans people, and it's something to do with parenting. It has to be, and the woke mob getting to your kids in the school. But
and the social cultural contagion within Hollywood. Sure. I mean, and I strongly believe a lot of them are being sexually abused, if not by their parents, by the industry, by the environment. So
my whole take on that is, like, if you leave a void, it's going to get filled with something.
Oh, good point. Good one. I mean, something's gonna get in there.
Whether it's good, you know what I mean? Like it's
like something's just missing. Somebody's gonna grab that kid, and that's it, bro. It's a wrap. That brain's gonna get.
It's tough.
They're looking, especially at that age. They're looking like bro, Tico, Pat's son. He's like a sponge right now. Everything's happening. If somebody's pumping, hey, every single day, you could be a girl. You could be a girl. You could be a girl. Especially if you get a.
Or hey, shoot up a school. Shoot up a school.
Hey, school sucks, and all these people are bullies.
They hate you. It's like. They ostracize the people. Like, the people in those communities, it's so weird because they'll join it to feel part of a community, and then that community will convince you how ostracized you are from regular communities. Mm-hmm. And so that's what creates that kind of weird discourse where you're like, oh, well, I'm so separate from those people. I don't belong even on Earth. Like, it's like, it's really
freaking
messed
horrible.
Up.
Yeah. Well,
bottom line, why haven't they charged Crook's parents with anything? Very suspicious.
I want to move on.
Massive
Great question.
mystery.
When you brought that up, my mindset is, because I've seen 3 videos of the father walking, no comment. No, F that. Let's find that piece of shit.
It's the new standard. That kid Crooks, I don't know him. He didn't look like he was all right in the head.
No.
How did he get a gun? How is he going to a firing range and shooting, going to a range with other FBI agents and law enforcement?
And flying drones over.
I think as we set precedents for this kind of stuff, I mean, it's hard to say that they're going to retroactively go back and look at those kinds of things.
It's going to be two-tiered application
but
of
I
a
think
weaponized system.
As the precedent starts to get set, I don't know if it's going to deter kids from doing it or deter parents from letting their kids. I mean, I hope it does.
It won't. It'll be two-tiered application of a weaponized system, as we're going to see with refugees. Yeah. Hey, some refugees are good, others are not good.
Well, speaking of refugees, this goes right into our next segment. The Trump administration has granted refugee status for over 50 white Afrikaners, South Africans, citing racial discrimination and expropriation in laws in South Africa as justification, despite suspending refugee admissions from any other countries. Can you please play the video? I want to show you guys the difference between the Tren de Agua cartel invasion of people that come in here, waving their flags and shitting on this country, to this. Play this video. This is something that makes liberals lose their minds.
I mean, they look safe.
Look, what do they have in their hands?
They have American
Notice
flags
anything?
and not the flags
Look
of
at that
the
little
country
cute little,
from which they're fleeing.
Happy as hell.
Wouldn't mind them be my neighbors.
Because dude, yeah, you know why they're happy? Because they're getting murdered
Do you know,
in their freaking in their own country.
I've had to have arguments with people online.
That's good, Connor.
Again, when they say that the Koch story is Russian disinformation, you know it's true. When fact checkers come out and say there's no white genocide going on in South Africa, you know that it's true. And again, double standards, weaponizing of language, where the argument is that what's going on in Gaza is genocide. And then the flip side is that despite the fact that the population is growing, they're calling it genocide. Whether or not acts of war are all genocide, or whether or not genocide are all acts of war, separate argument. What's going on in South Africa, by the definition of genocide, is genocide. It is disproportionate killings of white farmers. There have been however many hundreds or thousands over the last decades. 87% are white. They are expropriating land without compensation is the sort of the kicker to that. And it disparately impacts whites. You got South African leaders going on in stadiums chanting, "Kill the white people." And yet that's not genocide, and it's unfair to be bringing these refugees in. It's a double standard, even though they're carrying the flag of the country that's saving them, not the flags of the countries that they're allegedly fleeing, and that's somehow unacceptable.
And it's a little over 50 people, and again, another play from Donald Trump just to show the disgusting, evil souls of these people. He brought 50 people here, not one peep. For 4 years of the almost 20 million. Guys, stop. And guys, all of us, everybody, stop. Not you guys, I'm just saying. Stop saying 5, 10, 8, 15, 18. It's over 20 million people came here. And I don't give a shit what anybody says. It was an invasion, but not meaning they had a soldier and they came in with an army. No. They were led in by the people here who should be held accountable, which we'll get into in the next story. But Jake, what do you think about the 50 refugees coming over here from South Africa?
I think that, dude, this is a hard topic.
Say it. It's all good. I want to hear it.
All right. So, do I think that it's good that they're getting saved from genocide? 100%. Do I think 50 people coming into the country is going to be a drop in? Dude, 50 people could go live in a neighborhood somewhere. Like,
you can put them in a tour bus.
It's nothing.
Yeah,
like they could live in a trailer park.
For
50 people is nothing. I definitely believe that. So Trump is the king of finding 80-20 arguments and taking the 80 and letting the 20 burn out. So he's using these people as pawns. I mean, like, is he saving them? Yes, but it's a show because had they been from another disenfranchised country and they're holding and
say Ukraine, for example.
Well, Ukraine. The thing about Ukraine is that we still have like some kind of people still kind of feel bad for them. It's hard to explain, but
because they were told. I mean, they were
right.
trained and brainwashed to feel like Putin is the bad guy and Zelensky's his hero, and he's not anything but.
I hate to bring like race up, but like you guys are saying, when you're watching, you're like, oh look, these people look very safe, and I'm sure they bring a lot of skills to our country and XYZ, which I'm sure is probably true. But had that been 50 people from Democratic Republic of Congo, and they were holding Congolese flags and coming in, people would be like, I don't want them as my neighbor. It doesn't matter. I mean, like, it's the optics, right? So he has these people who are very clearly like he is saving, and they are very grateful, but he's basically propagandizing them. He's like, look, here's all these flags. Go stand in front of the thing. Get your pictures taken. I'm going to say how great it is that you're coming, and then people are going to melt down.
You think it's more race or religion?
What?
More race or religion in terms of like the optics of it?
I think it's loyalty to the country. Anyone coming in from any country, white or black, carrying the flags of the country that they're fleeing from and not the one that's welcoming them, will not be well received, and rightly so.
Oh, no, sure. The optics are bad.
By the way, you know how many Ukrainian refugees have been taken in under Biden?
Couple.
170 some odd thousand.
Yeah.
Nobody said boo.
Nothing.
And what I like, you're right. Trump uses these and sort of propagandizes them, uses them to highlight the flagrant hypocrisy of the left.
Right.
Open borders for everyone, for Chinese, Middle Eastern coming in from the southern border. open borders for Ukrainian because that's their thing. But 50 South African Afrikaner farmers, and they flip their shit and call Trump a hypocrite. Yeah, I mean, he highlights their hypocrisy.
And I'm not going to deny that
there
is that they were being prosecuted.
Look.
Oh yeah, you know who's not complaining about that? This move by Trump? Those 55 people.
Oh,
with
no,
their
no,
hands
no,
on
no,
your
no,
mind.
And let me tell you something. Like, being Latino, I much rather have this 50s than another 50 Latinos, all right? These people, the Afrikaners, that's what they're called, they're wonderful people. Like, because I grew up in the Middle East, there's a disproportionate amount because they're not let in anywhere. If you
Why?
Afrikaners?
Because nobody recognizes the
Nobody
genocide.
recognizes the genocide. Nobody recognizes them.
You mean as like
Listen,
asylum seekers, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna be super straight. First of all, this is none of our business because we didn't put those people there. So the Dutch, who are the worst, the second worst. I hate the Dutch.
The
They're
Norwegians
the
are
worst.
number one.
They're the worst. I sent you a video. They're the worst. Norwegian number one, Dutch number two. They're pieces of shit. All of them. I don't care about it. My family was original from there. They moved to Germany because it's a shit country. All right.
So you're Dutch.
No, I'm not. Never. All right. Those are wonderful people that build a nation. All right. They build a country. They put their back into it. I grew up with a bunch of them, and it's so sad for them because they feel African and they got pushed out.
They
of
are.
This. You know, they got pushed out of this.
I mean,
and
you
they
are
have
from Africa.
my friend
Musk.
James.
I was gonna say that.
My friend James, who's from Zimbabwe. His family farm got burned to the ground. Some of his cousins and uncles, they got shot in front of him. So they had to pack up and leave to the Middle East because he's racially and his family is culturally English. They're from England.
Yeah.
But the English won't take them back. So he had to go live in Dubai. So and it happens to me as well. Like, where am I really from? You know, like you see the people in South America, they probably don't look like me. And if things, they start ramping up, like Mandela, who was a terrorist communist, I'm going to say it right now, biggest
Jake has a
communist,
different point of view,
biggest communist, and a terrorist, and he deserved being in jail. And this is South Africa. That's how it looks like. It's a failed nation state.
And can I show? By the way, this is South Africa. This is the Boer graveyard. Can you read it, Jake?
Each white cross represents a white farmer in South Africa murdered from 2018 to 2022. Trump just called this out of radio silence for like,
yeah. Can you show that? So
I've seen this.
Can you show this video, Connor? So guys, all these. Have you seen this? Guys, see all those crosses on the side of the road?
Hold on, they're gonna be on the left.
On the left side, you see them?
Yep.
Those are all murdered South African farmers, white farmers, and it keeps going.
I think the fact check on this is that it wasn't only white farmers.
I was just about to say I don't know if all of them are white.
farmers in
Just
general?
bunch of people killed. Period.
But that's
Look how long the line is, bro.
but
The
that-
people were murdered.
This is one of my arguments. Is that
Well, you should go to Arlington
it's
Cemetery.
Not genocide.
It's pretty bad.
It's not genocide because everyone's getting murdered in that shithole of a country with a ridiculously high crime rate. But then and by the way, you look up the stats. South Africa doesn't break down the race of the victims conveniently. It is, in fact, over 87% of the farmers who have been murdered have been white.
You know
So
why I'm sure
do
that's
the, math
the case?
Because it would show that there's a genocide if they showed.
But 70 years ago, what was the other way around? Apartheid. So they start
I don't know about that.
Yeah, years ago when the apartheid was happening, they didn't show the death rate because they would show disproportionate that blacks were dying over whites, and now it's flipped and people are mad.
Yeah, but staying on this point, I'm going to come to you.
We're going to play this clip afterwards. It'll blow your mind.
Okay. Oh, I can't wait. Well, you should have seen the BLM chick that I told Jake about before this. She's calling threats. She's threatening these people, not doggos. And she's like, she looks like Joy Reid with hair. She's from BLM. She's like, you guys are coming here. The president has Secret Service protection. You don't. So shut up, dude. Evil. But guys, this is what God. The Bible talked about evil. This is what these people have brewing inside of their disgusting souls. Like, we're talking about, guys, 55 people, and I get what you're talking about. Yes, it's going to be optics, but at the same token, he's saving these people's lives because they're going to die. And all these people, it's not a comparison between people that are just, the border is wide open and everybody and their mother's coming here, sex traffic, drugs, all that shit. These people are escaping just from one specific thing, murder. They're going to get murdered, and it's an absolute thing, and he's saving these people. I don't give a shit if they were black, white, Mexican, whatever. If they're right there getting murdered, and you're like, okay, get them the fuck out, and there's 50 of them, not just, hey, open the door. Oh, you guys were about to get murdered?
Why is there only 50?
55 in that
In
major
that
area.
particular, there's more, but
insane.
But like, where else do we know there's been a genocide for years? Like, Africa's the one place where we know there's like for a long time been a genocide.
Yeah. South Africa has a crazy history.
I would argue that the one in Palestine's not though, because it's not like they're like picking out random people and like saying like, oh, because of your race.
So it's a war, but I mean.
Yeah, I was gonna double on you when you're saying like, oh, if they're in danger of getting murdered, then you bring them here, and I was like, well, that's the exact same argument they would use for any other.
Yeah,
Is this a video?
Like if you're running up to people saying like, because you're a race, I'm gonna kill you, then that's a genocide.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, unfortunately, under the UN definition of 48, genocide is much broader than actual, targeted murder of. It's so broad that it kind of doesn't mean genocide anymore. But play this clip here, because this woman is was an advisor to, I want to say Kamala Harris, but it might have been Joe Biden, and this was another CNN glory. But play the clip; it's very short. Okay. But you're going to see the logic that this woman, as she says the words, she doesn't understand the consequences of her words.
Go ahead. Well, it's okay. It's going to go to X. Okay.
Look, it's crashing.
Elon Musk. Here we go.
The people who are native to that land deserve their rightful land back. That is not what the Afrikaners actually want to have happen, which are the white Africans, and so who are not originally from Africa, who colonized South Africa also. And so that is what they are saying is discrimination. Now, if the Constitution in South Africa is discriminatory, they have their checks and balances in that land just like we do. And that is for them to, so if the Afrikaners don't actually like the land, they can leave that country.
They are. They're leaving to come
No,
if they don't like it,
they can actually
they can
go
leave.
to where their native land is, which is probably
South
Germany.
Africa.
Are you against them coming here?
Holland, probably. Holland?
Afrikaners have been in South Africa for 400 years. She's saying, if you don't like the law of the land, leave.
Like Rosie O'Donnell complaining about Trump.
Imagine how that logic can be twisted right in her face. If you don't go back to your native land where you haven't been for 400 years, how is Germany or the Netherlands? How is that the native land of a people who have been in another country for 400 years? If you don't like it, leave. Well, here's one problem. They can't leave because no one's taking them. They're using, if you don't like the law of the land where we expropriate your property, where you have targeted killings that disproportionately affect you, leave. That's kind of what the Nazis said, and I don't want to use that analogy too hyperbolic. Hey, we're going to expropriate your land. We're going to take your property. We're going to have the occasional Kristallnacht. If you don't like it, leave. Except no one's taking you, and then at some point it becomes too late to leave after you've been murdered.
Yeah, we should stop giving foreign aid to Africa because, I mean, it's really not a place that should be a home for a thriving society. Like, it's a totally, like, unnatural habitat that will never be industrialized because it's just, like, built for people not to live in it. So we got to stop sending money.
The whole continent?
Yeah. No, literally. It's literally built, like, for people not to live on it. Like, all the water flows outwards. It's like a giant mountaintop. The continental shelf is too shallow for a big ship to come up to the side of it. So it's literally impossible to industrialize. The only reason there's, like, a growing population is because we import food and weapons and let people go crazy in like totally unnatural way.
That's a new level. I never heard someone to be continentalist.
Yeah, I was like, he's like, oh yeah, that whole entire continent.
I'm saying
telling the truth about the land.
They could dredge a canal through Africa.
For sure.
In the ocean?
Were there for
I don't know. I'm just saying, scientifically, they've got to be ways. And there's natural resources. There's diamonds. There's a bunch of good stuff.
It's extractive, but people should not like.
There's people there that were for thousands of years that were thriving. They're chilling.
But no, the whole corruption that goes with these what is it? We're looking like funding aid to Africa.
Yeah.
No, it is. Everybody knows that's how you corrupt an entire regime with endless aid that only feeds the tyrants who steal the money.
Really, where do the guns come from? They come from us.
Can I say a last thing? Let's flip that video, right? Black dude on one side, white lady from England, talking the same talk, going like, if they don't like living here, they can go back to Africa.
They're native.
The natives of England.
What do you mean?
Can you imagine that?
Their heads would have popped off.
Can you imagine?
You would have heard pops, like popcorn.
And talking and I'm going back to my point. Where's Keir Starmer? He puts the English Empire put the Afrikaners there. The Dutch Empire puts the African, and we Americans, because we're the greatest country that ever lived, peak America 2026. Why are we taking care of this? All right, they're their people.
Yeah, and guess what? Speaking of psychos, Keir Starmer.
Yeah, Keir Starmer. But before we get into the video, if we can bring up something called Sanpaku eyes.
What's that?
It is I believe it's a Japanese version of phrenology, which judges the eyes in terms of rating psychosis. is true. Okay,
shoulders. Oh,
the one on the top, you can tell it's a woman, sort of manipulative in terms of the
My
eye.
ex. Those are my ex's
Then
eyes.
you get the second one, which I don't know, kind of normal. The third one, which looks like I don't know, Kim Basinger out of when she cooks your rabbit. Bottom two. The second to last one, I believe it says psychotic. I can't read what it says exactly.
Do a little zoom.
These eyes have. It says, "Don't walk, run away." These eyes have psychotic tendencies.
The bottom.
The second to bottom.
Second to bottom. Yeah.
Are Albert Bourla's eyes. We're going to see that in a second. And the bottom are Keir Starmer's eyes, which we're going to see in a second.
Psychopath. It says the eyes of a psychopathic killer.
Okay, now look at the second to last one, the Albert Bourla eyes, and if we can get a picture of Albert Bourla, you will never unsee it again, and you will never unsee the psychotic eyes.
Albert Bourla? Who is Albert Bourla?
The CEO of Pfizer.
That guy's psychotic.
He's a psychopath.
Yeah.
But if we get a picture of his face, look at these eyes.
Oh,
I'm
those are
telling
his
you, he's
eyes.
got those eyes.
Oh my God.
And then Keir Starmer has the psychopath eyes. Look at these eyes.
Yeah, these guys are nuts.
Crazy man.
Oh, I don't trust this guy at all.
Genocidal. All right, now we get to Keir Starmer.
Okay,
the
so
other
Keir
piece of
Starmer.
caca.
Go to our boy Keir.
Look at his eyes.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has committed to significantly reducing net migration by 2029. Yeah, day late, dollar short, buddy. Psycho eyes. Through a new controlled, selective, and fair immigration system as outlined as a white paper focused on boosting skills and training to address economic stagnation. Starmer emphasized that improved education and workforce development are crucial for reversing stagnant growth and achieving sustainable property. Bullshit. It's too late. Play this video. I want to hear this idiot.
Let me put it this way. Nations depend on rules, fair rules. Sometimes they're written down, often they're not. But either way, they give shape to our values, guide us towards our rights, of course, but also our responsibilities, the obligations we owe to each other. Now, in a diverse nation like ours, and I celebrate that, these rules become even more important.
Too late.
Without them, we risk becoming an island of strangers,
Sure.
not a nation that walks forward together.
What the hell is he talking about?
So when you have an immigration system that seems almost designed to permit abuse,
Really?
that
He
encourages
just
some
figured this out?
businesses to bring in lower paid workers rather than invest in our young people,
What a scumbag.
or simply one that is sold
Yeah,
by
you,
politicians.
Connor, I don't want to hear
to the
any more of this
British-
guy.
This
He's
fucking
the
guy-
problem.
this
You
fucking
let
guy-
it happen.
No, but did you not see the other video or a tweet where he says, if you come to England, you should speak English. It's common sense. What happened overnight? This globalist piece of shit who has contributed to the destruction of the UK over the last 20... He was a Crown Prosecutor, whatever it's called, Director of Criminal Prosecutions, that didn't go after the East Asian Muslim Pakistani rape gangs in England. Now he's coming in saying, speak English? He's the same son of a bitch in the country where they've been locking up people for social media posts for being racist. Literally, there was a video that I posted the other day of a cop saying, "Did I hear you say speak English? Because that could be deemed
hate crime.
a hate crime."
Wow. It is.
And this
Hate
guy
crime.
overnight is now saying speak English, and we're going to shut down our borders. What happened?
What happened? I'm curious. What happened?
Well, it hasn't gotten bad enough yet, but it's gotten politically unpopular where this scumbag has to turn
Well,
his
is it-
coat.
Go ahead.
Is it a coincidence that happened right after the trade deal was struck with them? I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. Like, I've been mind blown that Trump has been saying positive things about him. So, I mean, for him to take a 180 like this the week after the trade deal happens, could that be it?
Brandon, he has a track record of
worst.
just saying anything that will win him power.
Yeah, I was gonna say he seems very flippy
This
floppy.
guy has made his career defending terrorists
And pedos.
This is factual. Yes,
Pedos.
and bankers. That's
The worst.
his career.
And locking people up for social media posts. I think, what was it, 4,700 people were arrested or jailed. I have to get the exact number.
4,700?
There's been
4,700 because
There's
we're
been-
saying shit online.
arrests. They put a guy in
No,
jail.
I know. I've seen them, but I didn't know it was that many.
I fact check me, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's a lot. That's
It's
the
a lot.
point.
How about
And
this?
it's
Even one person
It's,
is enough.
it's an
Yeah.
outright volte-face. It's not like evolution. 3 weeks ago, they were locking people up for saying that there's too many immigrants that are not speaking English, that are not adopting or assimilating to a British culture. Now the guy's saying speak English and shut the borders down, right to jail.
This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The two-tier, like they had the documents. You know, they want to set up in England if you're an immigrant, racial minority, religious minority, that your sentencing will be different than someone native to England.
They call him two-tier Keir. Like literally, it's called
yeah,
two-tier
two-tier Keir. Like
Bro.
his job defending murderers, like literally people that commit murder in Jamaica and the Caribbean.
Humberto, what do you think? What would make someone like that? I want to ask both of you. What makes someone like that flip the script? Like, you are the cause. You are. That's like Biden coming up towards the end of his thing and going, "Hey guys, listen, this border situation," which they tried to do. This border situation, it's a little out of control. We got to chill. Nobody believes it. What makes him do that? Jake, what do you think? Well, what would make that guy, who's the cause? He's the one that was promoting it. Now he's flip-flopping.
Fear.
Of?
So it starts where, like, fear. So I'm sure at first it was like the more liberal woke mob that he was afraid of getting canceled. So then you do the thing that's politically correct in their eyes. And now the fear, the fear of real life ramifications and like, oh, we went way too far of this. Now I'm like actually
you're giving him too much credit. These people live in a different planet.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
They do cocaine in trains.
It's like the boogeyman that he was afraid of changed.
They live in private neighborhoods. They have their money set. If anything goes wrong, they go to one of this. They go to Switzerland. Nobody will bother them there. They will go to Brussels. They will grab a house in the Cayman Islands or Costa Rica if shit gets out of control. They have no consequences. The European ruling class that is just bureaucrats of the worst kind. Nothing ever happens. If it's bad, like how nothing can ever change for the better in Canada, in Europe is much worse. It's much worse.
I don't think he thinks his own thoughts though. Like he seems like a guy who's is just there to be a
means
robot.
Nothing.
Yeah, I don't think he thinks his own
he's a
thoughts.
figurehead.
I think
he
somebody
literally
told him
looks
to
like
think that way.
He looks like a caricature of a hedgehog,
Yes.
like as a person.
Yeah.
And it's weird because what hedgehogs do, they burrow underground until something important happens, and then they pop
Come
up
back
and they
out.
do their shit, and then they go back.
Yeah.
He's been aggressively the other way before this.
No, but the thing is, it's not even a 180. It's not even as though Biden comes out and says, there's a problem at the border, because Kamala did do that. It's not. It would be like Joe Biden coming out and saying, yeah, January 6th wasn't actually an insurrection, guys. Sorry. That's how, because they've built
Massive backtrack, like
they've built a decade on open borders. They built 20 years on protecting Pakistani Muslim rape gangs because of the backlash that they feared it would have on the open border change in demographics in England. They criminalized speech. They locked up Tommy Robinson for these things.
He's still locked up.
He's still locked up. I think he's still in solitary. They locked up a guy for putting a ham sandwich in front of a mosque, and he ended up dying in prison. And so now this guy comes out and says
he died in prison.
He died in prison. And by the way, I did look it up. It's thousands of arrests for social media posts.
I mean, that's like insensitive, but you definitely shouldn't die in prison.
They want Tommy Robinson to die in prison as well because he blew the lid off the Muslim rape gangs. He blew the lid off.
He wasn't right in the middle of this.
Absolutely.
But now they're agreeing.
And now they're agreeing. There are too many immigrants. Tighten the borders and speak English.
Language.
That should lock Keir Starmer up. He should go to jail. He should face the same consequences his citizens have faced. Arrest Keir. Where's the camera? Arrest Keir Starmer and lock his ass up.
And can I speak to King Charles right here? I know he watches the show. Just dissolve Parliament, okay? It's a failed experiment, giving people a voice and all these things. Just go back to monarchy, all right? It's a wrap. This doesn't work. It just gets progressively worse.
So he's the prime minister. So there's a king
Yeah,
of
the
England.
king
What is
can-
he?
It's a
what does
figurehead.
he
It's
do?
a figurehead.
Run the
system.
world.
No.
No, he runs
that's
the
a
world.
liberal lie.
Yeah,
He's not a figurehead. He has the actual power. And the English people are so fed up. They were doing polls. They're so fed up with all this situation that if the king actually decided, because he has the power to dissolve Parliament, I don't think there will be another army to oppose King Charles for dissolving Parliament because everyone's so fed up with this.
How old is he?
King Charles is on his way out.
He's a young
Well,
he's a
King
young
Charles
man.
has cancer.
No, he's a
Yeah,
young-
but he just signed in. I don't know.
I don't see him. I mean, God willing, he does. But I think from what I've heard, he has cancer. and
He's
it's not good.
76. He's not a spring
but
chicken.
we'll just
No,
go
he's
the-
not a spring chicken with cancer. But here's my question: who takes the throne?
Was it
the
Andrew?
balding guy.
The crazy Andrew who was on Epstein Island?
Yeah,
Is
Prince
that-
Andrew takes the
No,
crown.
does he?
No, I don't
Son
think.
does.
No.
Wait, no, the Duke takes.
No, the
over-
brother does.
That's his brother.
Yeah, right?
Dude, I don't know.
Wait, is Prince
Prince
Andrew the king's brother?
Yeah.
What the? I didn't know.
I
thought
didn't know
he's
the-
just a
yeah.
cousin and he's a dude.
All right,
Who is this prince?
I believe
Let me see.
I want to see the
William.
What?
Perplexity.
Prince William. He might be based.
Wait, does Prince
He might be
take-
based.
If Prince William takes over, I want
Yeah,
to know
Prince William.
can he change shit up? Yeah, I don't wait.
Yeah.
Is Prince
I
Prince
thought so.
Andrew his brother? Is Prince Andrew King Charles's brother?
Yes.
What Brandon, that makes it even worse.
Yeah.
The brother of the king was a freaking doing what he was doing.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Hold on. Is Connor, who said that? Is Connor certain about this?
Connor, 100%
What's the age difference between the two of them?
Between Andrew and
Andrew's
Charles?
what, 60?
Stand by. I'm fact.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, because
guys,
you're right. At that point,
That's wild.
That's wild.
I didn't know that.
You guys saw James O'Keefe's undercover with the guy saying, he lied to me about effing underage girls. That's not cool. Cool is probably the understatement of the millennium.
Very relaxed. He's the Duke of what? Not Earl. Camden?
Who?
Prince Andrew's the Duke of what?
Yeah, you know the British demographic are watching like, how do they not?
How could they not know this?
Bloody Americans.
Prince Andrew's the Duke of what?
Prince Andrew, I think he got disavowed.
No. He got in trouble, and the Queen said his royal speaking duties were taken away, meaning you're still cool.
No more press conferences for you.
Oh, Duke of York.
Duke of York. The Duke of York, I had no idea, guys. I'm not versed in this freaking topic. Is the brother of the king. Holy, that makes it even. Oh no, guys! No wonder why he's not going to go to jail and nothing's ever going to happen to him.
Duke of York,
because he's connected. Oh, okay, just like that's why.
Vinny, they don't go to jail.
None of them go to jail.
Can we get more dangerous here? I don't want to. I don't even want to put this out there.
Do it
for it
immediately.
Hurry up, we have 2 minutes.
Yeah, no, 2 minutes. Okay, when it comes to kings, how do you replace a king?
With another
revolution,
crusade,
revolution.
How do you oust him?
One kingdom needs to fight another one, and one king needs to kill the other one.
Yeah.
So if someone from from a Muslim royalty went and killed the king, and then dissolved parliament, they could have Islamic state there with a Islamic king.
Better off us taking it over.
But they have to fight it with horses and swords.
They do have to fight it with horses.
They have to fight it with horses and swords.
I'm talking shit here, but I like the idea. I'm a monarchist. I love it. It's great. As long as the monarch is good.
All that I want to say is the conspiracy theory that the world is run by a globalist pedophile cult ring of elites. It's totally wrong. And Prince Andrew, who is basically a determined known potatophile, is the brother of the King of England.
I had no I honestly, but I know he was related.
I thought he was like some defective nephew that they
didn't know it was a
so-
straight relation.
So that's the Queen's son, who she said, "Hey, you're a potato file. You know what your punishment is?" He's like, "What, Mom? You can't speak in public ever again." And it's like, wow, you guys are fucking
I bet you'll be
demons, bro.
sweating after I implement that punishment on you, Prince Andrew.
I don't sweat, actually. I just started sweating later.
England is cooked. I've been saying this for 3 years now.
Yeah, you have. To hell with them. Anyway, I mean, the people are good, but your leaders. Anyway, last story. New York has unveiled a 12-foot-tall bronze statue titled "Grounded in the Stars." I don't know what the hell
Is it
that
Letitia
means.
James?
I thought it was depicting an anonymous overweight black woman. I thought it was Letitia James.
Looks just like her.
In Times Square, as part of a broader global trend that has seen statues erected in UK, Italy, and the Netherlands. That's the image of what looks like. Dude, that's what. Why? Here's my question. Why would you put an obviously overweight person with tight-ass pants?
Not even wearing a proper bra.
No,
as far as
oh my God.
By the way, you know who the artist is?
Who?
Unfortunately.
He's a black man, so I guess he can't get accused of racism. But if anybody had made a statue like that to say, this is what black women represent, I think they would rightly get called a filthy racist for embodying the most stereotypical of tropes in a 12-foot statue to say, this is what I think of black women. My goodness, it's not because he's black that's not an insult to women.
Hold on, and I love doing this devil's advocate. If a white guy was like, who loved black people, and was like, guys, check this out. I love black women, and unveiled that, what happens to the white artist? He's gone. He's never working ever again.
Just hypothetically, I know some people are going to appreciate this thought experiment. Imagine they unveil it, and it's a Jewish guy with a kippah, payas, rubbing his hands together, like in time. Well, it's done by a Jew, so it can't be offensive. I mean, what that statue is embodying stereotypes and tropes and unhealthy ones at that. It's like it's terrible, and yet it's spawned.
And look at this though. This installation. Look at the ones in the UK.
Yeah, at least make her
and
fit.
Italy and.
I like the one on the bottom left.
one-
Is something of a social commentary, at least. Someone sitting there and paying attention to their phone and not the world around them.
Yeah, but the girl on the right looks like a big painter, like a French painter. She
Why
wearing
do
a
they have to
beret.
be fat though?
They're like the majority of the only one that's not overweight is the girl on the left. What do you
And
say?
where was that? That one was in Italy, I think, on the left.
Italy
right?
on the left.
Have
Like,
you
most
guys
of the time,
watched?
black girls are in great shape. So like, why are they making them fat?
Brandon, I know you love good television. Have you guys watched the 1,000-Pound Sisters?
No, I haven't gotten to that one.
That's the most degenerate show
Oh
I've
my
ever
God!
seen.
I saw one yesterday where her head, by the way, her head weighs more than me, and the girl's asking her, "Is this the one?" She goes, "How many sodas do you drink?" And she goes, 8 to 12.
Sodies.
8 to sodies. And no joke, Jake. And she goes like this. She goes, "Wait, 8 to 12 sodas?" But she goes, "Yeah, but some are diet." And she goes, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "Well, my mama told me growing up, if I have a regular soda and then a diet after, the diet cancels out the actual soda."
No, but what's amazing
That's called
is,
survival of the fittest,
All
right.
right.
there. That's evolution weeding
No,
people
but
out.
the problem is, as we saw in Idiocracy, they find ways to allow for the survival of those who would otherwise not have survived, the fittest in the back in
Yeah,
the days. But the
true.
problem is, people are going to say, it's terrible, it's fat shaming. There is a difference between fat shaming, although some might call that encouragement to lose weight, versus glorification of unhealthy habits. And so, glorifying being overweight, morbidly obese. These are not morbidly. The first one was morbidly obese. You are encouraging destructive behavior, and it should not be encouraged.
Yeah, and
if it's a commentary on the lamentable state of American health, fine, but not just American, Canadian as well.
Super pro fat shaming, by the way.
I was going somewhere with those ladies. Like as a very loose member
Oh boy.
of the the whites in general. Like if I was gonna make a statue and I pick one of them to make the statue, I think I would have girls from Minnesota come and try to kill me. Like it's such a like you pick the best. Like when we used to Greece, Rome, like the most muscular and best
foot forward
dudes.
That's why I love it.
What?
The statues.
Why do you love it?
Because that's what you're right. That's what people are used to. They're used to mostly white, very in shape, very heroic, like statues were this thing
Thomas
of
Jefferson.
of honor and greatness, and it's art. This is a sign of the times. This is people want to see themselves in art, whether it's healthy, whether it's glorification of being
What
fat.
do you mean? That's the last thing I want to do. I wouldn't buy any painting or sculpture of me. That'd be the worst thing.
No, I mean that's you.
I will burn it alive.
No, but Jay, you're making a point.
No,
Go
but
ahead,
what I'm
make
saying
your
is
point.
people want to be related to or feel like people understand them, like they're seen. So like whether you think that these statues are very glorifying or pretty or whatever it is, or
it's
not,
objective. It's art.
It's people see themselves in it, and it makes them feel like, okay, maybe I do belong. Maybe I am seen. I am part of this community. I do belong. I mean, it's not healthy to be overweight. You're right, but there's a massive population.
What do you mean? We have the most
biggest
obese
one.
people,
right? And that's not. I mean, you said she was morbidly obese. She was
Go
pretty heavy.
back to
but
the
it's not,
first one. Go back to the first one.
But I think the problem. I appreciate that it's art. Art's supposed to mean something
Connor,
different depending on the person who's viewing it. But the flip side is you're not just normalizing, but encouraging that type of behavior. And the thing about that, I've never seen that show, but I've seen that particular.
No, I
clip.
understand the encouragement part.
Well, and then the thing is, and people get to say, well, I'm
it
not
doesn't mean
healthy,
it's not happening.
but at least I'm not that obese. Like I'm not the 1,000-pound sister, so I can be 300 pounds.
See,
and
I
still
always
be,
try to hang
it's
with fatter
comparison,
people.
like comparison.
For that
I
reason.
know.
Connor, can you go back to the
I
first
love
one? The first
when,
statue.
when I was watching Train Spotting when I was a kid,
Connor's not
1996.
working. Connor passed out.
Yeah.
Well, while Connor gets the clip up, in 1996 when Train Spotting came out,
It went the other way. He was like, no picture, just
Connor,
get
the other way. Go to the first.
There we go.
You think that is this a real person?
That's
think?
a
For
heifer.
sure. It's an amalgamation of people.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I was just thinking,
I'm sure he had a real model and stuff like that. But I mean, I grew up in Atlanta. I know there are people that I know that look exactly like that.
We all know people like
Right,
that.
of course.
Would
And
you,
it's
date,
not
would you date it?
a statue.
No,
No,
that size. A girl
statue.
that's
You
like
were at a
shaped
bar,
like that.
you were feeling lonely,
No, I mean, but that's not Jake's type. Like that's not my type. Like that's a
But it doesn't. But I don't need to
body
be
type of
sexually
a girl.
attracted to a statue to understand like the
know
validity
what?
of it in society.
I flip. I like this.
Good. Well, you're with Jake.
It's art.
It's
But the only
art.
question
It
is, what is the commentary behind it?
BBW.
If it were done by a white man, this would be racist misogyny. It's done by a black man, so it can only be
If
misogyny.
it was framed in that light, sure.
If it was done by a black
Viva.
woman who's saying, this is me, and I'm
Beauty
exposing myself.
It's in the eyes of the beholder. It means anything that you want to mean.
Right.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
agree.
it's a conversation piece.
I would love to take a picture with her.
I would
like
she's
to-
12 feet tall.
No, but I would
yeah.
stand.
Who
I would
gave him
stand
the right
between-
to put it there, by the way?
The city, dude, you can't put nothing there unless the city goes. You could put a 12-foot
Bronze
statue.
statue in Times Square.
Yeah.
I would
Oh,
stand
it's-
right behind her underneath and pretend that she just pooped me out. That's
Nice.
what I would do.
Nice. Well, on that note,
You know what? Good for everyone. Good for the guy that made it. That
Yeah,
got the
good.
bag.
Well,
Good
Well,
for
no,
this.
the truth is, art is money laundering, and so I want to know how much that guy got commissioned.
All
to
of
pay
it.
for
All
it.
art.
All
I mean,
fine art is
Hunter
money laundering.
Biden is the greatest case of
Picasso,
I need
money launderer.
No, the free Cindy Sherman, like all of it is money laundering,
I
and it's a
agree.
way for people to transfer money from one place to the next without
That's it.
getting.
Art is the best.
Yeah.
best way to do it. You could
Tape
literally
banana.
shit on a freaking white thing and be like,
Yeah,
they
once-
got the banana duct tape.
I love that
Yes.
one. And he ate it.
And he ate it. What a pretentious
Oh,
prick.
Ceci n'est pas une pipe. This is not a pipe. Who was that? Was it Magritte? I think it was Magritte.
Now-
Some of it's
now-
great.
now I'm hungry 'cause I wanna make
Salvador Dali is
Salvador
objective, beautiful art. All the rest
yeah.
of it is crap.
It's crap. Okay.
I got the list at
I love Norman
Michelangelo,
Rockwell.
that's it.
Norman Rockwell, the
Love
old
Normans.
paintings of like Christmas and stuff. I love them.
Oh well, before we end, does everybody know who Joel Peter Whitkin is?
Can't say I do.
Enlighten us.
Joel Peter Whitkin is a New York photographer who used to do like crime scene photos, and then he started doing like still life with circus freaks, sort of like midgets and people doing terribly
portraits and stuff.
Yeah, Joel Peter Whitkin. Then he started doing art with photography
Oh, yuck.
with cadavers, and so
With the guy
Oh.
from Road to Perdition. The guy.
well, I don't apparently.
Jude Law's character.
I discovered him in Paris in 1999, not when I was partying in Paris, when I was studying philosophy at La Sorbonne,
Yeah.
and I went to this crime scene
That
exhibit.
entails partying. If you're studying philosophy, you're partying.
Oh no, I wasn't, dude. I wasn't partying. I was a big loser always. Joel Peter Whitkin, and so he was doing still life with body parts, cadavers that he would go get from Mexican morgues, and it's stunning, but it's degeneracy.
Have you been to the bones exhibit or the inside the body exhibit?
I went to that back in
It's
the day.
it's weird, but it's amazing.
Well, it's amazing, but it's immoral once you realize that those were actually Chinese prisoners who did not consent to their bodies being
well,
rubbed.
yeah, you know that I
That being
didn't.
said,
That part. I
different
didn't.
story. But all right, guys, great show. Jake, you popped your cherry. We're glad that you're
Hey,
here.
yo.
I love it. Well, I know it's hey,
Such a
remember in
gross-
Goodfellas?
a gross-
You
Thank
popped your
you, that's
cherry.
disgusting.
Next
Yeah.
show, Big Water,
You
maybe.
pop
I
Big
don't know.
Water.
Oh.
Like this show was not brought to you by Big Water.
Dude, we
but
could do a
guys,
whole special on
We're
it.
gonna do a whole
Deep
we
dive.
might go 2 hours deep dive about water. I think the people behind water.
Danny DeSoni.
I'm not,
Danny Dasani and Frank
Dasani,
The
Frank
globalists,
Fiji.
the neocons, and the bankers.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you guys want any merch, go to vtmerch.com. Angry Patriot stuff is on there. We have a whole collection of VT merch on there. Guys, I know I say this all the time, but love each other. Take care of each other. It's us against them, and we outnumber them. God is great. I love you guys. We'll see you Friday. Peace and love.
See ya.